Welcome back, campers.
That was Kaitlyn,
And that was Genevieve.
and you have arrived at Camping is Cancelled. This is part 2 of our blind read of the Untold Story of Silk Road by Joshua Bierman and art by Tomer Hanuka. Really cool art. If you are just tuning in, obviously stop what you're doing and go listen to part 1. Otherwise, what we're about to say will make absolutely no sense whatsoever. Anything else I need to add, Kaitlyn, right at the top?
No.
All right, without further ado, we're going to be diving right back in, starting with chapter 8 of The Untold Story of Silk Road. Lights out, campers.
Oh man, the mountains call my number one. I'm just a life-size lottery ticket in the hand of the one.
Chapter 8 The Pit. Tarbell was at work on the 23rd floor of the New York FBI office, early as usual. He was the kind of guy who wanted to be first in the office. Always had been, ever since college, when he started organizing his whole life on spreadsheets. Tarbell and Sabrina's first date is still on an Excel worksheet somewhere, as is everything that's happened since. Calendar bills, weight goals, daily run. Tarbell's father-in-law, a longtime Marine, thought Tarbell was the most regimented person he'd ever met. Tarbell set his alarm for 4:30 a.m., hit the gym by 5, and was showered and seated at his desk by 7 a.m. sharp. Love that journey for you, Tarbell. You are not our people.
If I could have maybe 3% of that, I'd be happy, but
Yeah, not for a Marine to be like, damn, you're regimented.
literally, my ADHD is quaking in her boots.
Good for you, Tarbell.
Good for you.
Tarbell and his fellow cyber cops occupied a couple of dozen spots toward the back of the bullpen, fanned out around a core group of desks called the Pit. This was prime real estate where the cool kids among the FBI's computer cliques sat. When Tarbell started, he was sitting 2 desks and an aisle away, way over by the windows. But during the Lulsec investigation, a coveted desk opened up, and he leapfrogged right into the center of the Pit. Tarbell liked his new colleagues, especially Ilwan Yum. As a kid, Yum moved from Korea to Long Island, where he got into video games and later learned about networking and packets from playing competitively in college. Yum would become vital to the Silk Road case because he was the squad's Bitcoin specialist. He'd gone to the first Bitcoin conference in August 2011 in New York. From a law enforcement perspective, Bitcoin screamed money laundering, but technologically Yum thought the protocol was simply beautiful. Across from Yum was Tom Kiernan. He'd been in the Pit the longest, 17 years, nearly since the DOS era, when he started at the Bureau as a civilian tech support guy, responding when agents' printers stopped working. Kiernan just understood machines, backward and forward, and became the spine of the cyber squad. He'd seen every case and knew all, like the Pit's very own Oracle. Just the guy Tarbell needed to help probe Silk Road's defenses. Tor was a vexing problem. Tarbell thought it had benefits, but he also believed that all technologies could have their purposes corrupted. In a criminal context, as with Silk Road, Tor made classical law enforcement, knocking on doors, interviewing witnesses, making deals, nearly useless. Sure, you might start to piece together the network or get closer to DPR, but you'd still have only usernames. This was not a people case, Tarbell thought. This was a computer case. The path to DPR was through his server. Finding it was a fearsome technical challenge. Out of 1.5 billion computers in the world, that makes me feel sick. Do you ever get that where if you try to wrap your mind around the sheer volume of of something that you know exists, like you picture a computer, then you try to picture 1.5 billion of them, it actually makes me feel like a little panicky.
Yeah, no,
I don't know what that is, but just like the sheer volume of something like that.
it's more so like if something my brain can't wrap around causes,
Yeah.
if I can't understand it or fully comprehend it like that.
Yeah. Ugh. Anyways, out of these 1.5 billion computers in the world, Tarbell started to think about just one machine, day after day. It could be anywhere. He was looking for a nanowire in a haystack.
My dream job.
Call in my second grader.
Genuinely, Jen, all I was thinking about was big career one day.
Give him a tall chocolate milk and a bowl of popcorn.
He's good for a working
He's
day.
good for the day.
Might get a little distracted. Might play a little like stick man. Okay. But he'll get back on track.
Yes.
Chapter 9. Founder's Dilemma. Back in Baltimore, Forrest was fluffing pillows. This was his habit in the evening, a way to clear his mind before getting on Silk Road as Knob. For the first couple of weeks, Knob pushed his big Silk Road investment scheme. But DPR declined, saying essentially, "This operation is bigger than you think." And it was, because Silk Road worked extremely well. DPR's robust stewardship was paying off. To protect against scammers, he created a Silk Road escrow, where all transactions would be held until settled. DPR wanted to create what he called a, quote, center of trust. And it was this centralized payment structure that enabled Silk Road to really take off. Yeah, if I'm buying drugs.
You want to make sure your money's going to the right person. And if you're selling it, you want to get your money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when Knob offered to buy the operation, DPR countered with quite a price, $1 billion. Knob scoffed, but in fact, DPR's number might have been low. The scale of Silk Road commissions over the next year would in fact qualify DPR as one of the biggest entrepreneurs of the second internet boom.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
Because when you think about like internet entrepreneurs, I just think Amazon. Like that it started off as a freaking book selling
yeah.
thing.
I
And
mean-
it's now like the global economy. Is it crazy to say that the global economy would not collapse, but it would be so drastically affected if Amazon were to just go lights out?
And it like Amazon truly, I think, only picked up because of COVID. At least for me, because like I had Amazon, but it was
Yeah.
like I can go to the store type thing.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened.
But now
and
it's
then-
like grocery delivery,
Yeah,
online,
pharmacy.
pharmacy, doctor's appointments.
all from like your fingertips at home. You don't have to
Mhm.
leave. Everything comes to you.
And a lot of people now rely on it as like a supplementary source of income because they do like the Amazon
Yeah.
reviews or they get commissions
don't
from
have time for that.
sales. No, but I do know a lot of people use it and they're like, this is what pays my mortgage.
That's crazy.
And I treat it like a job. So yeah.
I mean, but I think it was kind of touched in the first episode
Mhm.
where this is just counter adjacent of Amazon. This
Yeah.
is just drug Amazon.
It's just behind the veil Amazon. Yeah.
It's dark mode.
It's dark mode Amazon. Drug mode Amazon.
Oh gosh. Besides, he told Knob, "This is more than a business to me. It's a revolution and is becoming my life's work." In essence, DPR faced a classic founder's dilemma. It would not be easy to pass the baton without hurting the enterprise, he messaged Knob. And right now, that is more important to me than the money. Forrest kept communication with DPR alive by talking about creating a parallel site for cartels, a pro version called Masters of Silk Road.
Ooh.
He spent many nights in his guest room, Pablo purring by his side, forging a camaraderie with DPR through the intimacy of late-night tour chat. At times, they sounded like college kids getting to know each other in a freshman dorm. "The food pyramid is bullshit," DPR said. It is.
Yeah, it is.
Encouraging Knob to go paleo.
Oh, that's the what is it? The dinosaur diet,
Oh.
where it's basically just like no processed anything and
Oh.
no refined sugar. So of all the diets, it's really one of the better ones you can
Yeah.
do. It seems
A
like
hard one, though.
Yeah. Oh God, because you can never have.
At least in America. Where the hell are you going to find completely unprocessed? Like, you're going to have to raise your own cow. I ain't got time for that.
No,
And I can't kill a cow. I'm
certainly
sorry.
not. And I like Pizza Hut and
Yeah.
Taco Bell
yeah,
too much.
Yeah. I do like my Pop-Tarts in the morning.
Yeah.
Knob advised DPR against seeing the latest Batman, invited him to LA for tacos, and talked about how much Latinos like the Smiths. DPR had never heard of the Smiths. Is that a band?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
like,
the
yeah.
If a double-decker bus killed the both of us. Okay.
I don't know if I know that.
I think if you heard
Maybe if I, yeah.
or the song that's like, here comes your man, here comes your
Okay,
man.
yeah.
That's the Smiths.
But otherwise, Forrest's mysterious new pen pal was appropriately cagey. He didn't want to meet up for tacos. For some reason, Forrest always imagined DPR as a skinny white kid, probably on the West Coast, based on his active hours. Forrest liked him, this kid he had in mind as DPR. He enjoyed getting deep into the culture of Silk Road. It reminded him of his undercover days. He thought about DPR living a double life and the allure, the danger of taking on a new identity. Forrest had seen it firsthand in his years in undercover. He came to love being that criminal operator big shot. But a new self comes with a price. The more Forrest pretended and partied, the easier it was to inhabit the part. At home, he was the clean-cut, church-going dad, but when he was at some nightclub hunting for drug deals, liquor flowing, surrounded by girls, it was hard to believe just how comfortable he felt.
It was probably kind of a release too for him in a way.
Yeah.
Because you are playing a part, but I'm sure it was like, oh, this is fun, actually. And kind of scary. Because you can be like, you know what? I could do this better than these drug dealers. I'm going to be one too.
You live long enough to become the villain.
Oh, shit.
Eventually, Forrest stopped drinking and recommitted himself to church. He'd been a hot undercover agent, but he left behind the double life that nearly destroyed him. That's how he wound up in the Baltimore office, living in a suburban 2-story with a big, solid oak tree in the backyard. But now here he was, within sight of that oak, his family in the next room, venturing again into the drug world as someone else. Forrest recognized it was all a dangerous game. He knew how you could change. He could see it in DPR already. The thing about taking on a new identity is that it is fundamentally a lie. To the world at first, and then to yourself.
Chapter 10. StoryCorps. The world is in flux, Ross tells the camera. He sits across from his friend, Renee Pennell, recording for StoryCorps, a nonprofit that invites anyone to share their life experiences. Ross and Renee thought the world should know more about them, so they entered the StoryCorps booth, closed the door, and spent half an hour with each other and the camera.
Why did, Rose's
What
hand
is
on the,
StoryCorps?
window of the car in Titanic, come to mind? Let's not jump. Let's not jump.
Let's not. Sorry, our minds are in the gutter. That's just the baseline. They're in the gutter, and then we have to, raise ourselves out of the gutter.
Yeah, and it's really hard. The slopes are very steep and slippery.
And it's just so nice and cozy in the gutter.
You know it is. We keep each other company.
That's right. In this recording, Ross is contemplative. He lives in San Francisco now. It has been a revelation. He is awed by the beauty and the entrepreneurial energy. He came at the invitation of Renee, whom he'd known since 7th grade. Renee had been an aspiring filmmaker who instead wound up in technology in San Francisco, and one day he phoned Ross, intoning the great American clarion call of opportunity out west. 2 weeks later, Ross showed up on his friend's doorstep.
Okay, so 2 guys.
Yes.
Still Rose's hand on the window.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking a boy and a girl, like Renee.
So was I. Yeah, because I only know female Renees, but I
Yeah.
know that Renee can be a guy's name too. In the video, they get nostalgic about childhood. There was the time the 2 of them tried to steal extra tater tots in the lunchroom at Westridge Middle School. The way Ross would eat his peanut butter chocolate wafers, precisely by nibbling down the layers. How uncool it was when Ross had a sleepover and some bad kid stole a year's worth of change he'd saved. Jail. Straight
Somebody
to jail.
go check on that kid's home life, because that is trashy behavior.
That is absolute.
And sad.
Yeah, it is. Of course, they talk about love as young men do. Ross reminisces about Ashley, his first, and her great tits. The first time they'd hung out, they did psychedelics, something called AMT. They got it from his neighbor, Brandon, a super brilliant physics student who was into all of these research chemicals. Ross was still a teenager then, lying on the floor, expanding his mind next to a beautiful girl for 8 hours. Baby, you weren't expanding your mind.
That thing was
brain cell,
shrinking.
which is the death march of brain cells.
Oh my gosh. You were a genuine test rat for your friend.
Brandon was like, yeah, man, I got this great new shit.
Can you just log all the things you're feeling, like physical symptoms?
He's just in the corner with a white lab coat and a clipboard.
I'm tripping, man. I'm tripping.
Excellent, excellent. Life is a fluctuating value, Renee says, like currency. Renee thinks his friend is a traitor. Renee talks about how Austin is the meh of startups, whereas San Francisco is the mecca. It's late 2012, a time of fever dreams in the Bay Area, full of people wanting to change the world and make a lot of money in the process. Renee may not know it, but he is sitting next to someone doing just that. Ross and Renee wonder, what will happen in 200 years? I want to have a substantial positive impact on the future of humanity by the time I die, Ross says. Renee asks Ross if he thinks he'll live forever. Ross looks up, breaks into a tiny smile. Yes, he says, I think I might.
And the drugs are still working. Ooh, how was that like foreshadowing?
I know. I don't know.
Infamous. Live on in infamy, hey.
Yeah?
Chapter 11. Hugs. As Silk Road became a true global market, DPR reveled in his role as a leader and libertarian evangelist. He created a book club where users could polish their dogma from their sacred texts of von Mises himself. He talked more about a near future when our current government would seem like ancient history, along with the pharaohs and their armies of slaves. He extolled the Silk Road faithful for being on the front lines of revolution. Thank you, DPR said, for your trust, faith, and camaraderie, and love. He offered them hugs, not drugs, then amended it. Wait, hugs and drugs.
I was about to say, but baby boy, your entire enterprise is drugs.
Honestly, he sounds like a more supporting like head of a company than we ever had.
I mean, yeah.
I feel like he gave out more than just hand sanitizers and pins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he threw a few
Hugs
little
and drugs.
threw little perks in there, a few little. I'd be like, can I get whatever anti-aging pill the celebrities are taking?
Yeah, can I have that?
That's like made from the ground up blood of
That one like gif with the guy
angels.
like scratching his neck with the. He's like, can I get some of that?
Can I get that celebrity Botox that I can do for myself?
That's a needle and knife. We don't distribute that.
Yeah. Can I buy a surgeon off of that?
You know what? The dark market, you could probably buy like somebody's like blood or like their like cells.
Or
What is
yeah,
it?
like stem cells.
Yeah, stem cells that
Yeah.
people
Inject into their
Oh.
faces. Oh God. Hugs
Ooh.
and drugs.
Our new merch.
Yay.
The community responded in kind. likening DPR to Che Guevara, calling him a, quote, job creator, and declaring that his name would live on, quote, among the greatest men and women in history. Silk Road had become a brand cult with tens of thousands of fanatical users, and DPR was their very own Steve Jobs. Forrest sensed DPR's swelling confidence. He'd been talking to him for a year. God, a year.
Wow.
Taking in DPR's personality and passion. Forrest could appreciate the appeal. It must be intoxicating, bringing an idea to life, projecting your will into the world through encrypted code and transactions. Sometimes DPR said that he sensed the scale of this achievement and would hear the theme to Tron playing in his head. That's the drugs.
Definitely the jugs.
This was the new spirit of DPR, a self-created beacon in the darkness, spreading the good word through libertarian jubilee, holding aloft his lantern of truth. It was a lonely outpost, however. DPR said so to Knob. He called himself a person who hides behind computers. At times, DPR wished they could meet. Instead, they shared a mix of truth and fiction about their lives. I'll be Knob, you be Dread.
Okay.
You doing good?
Yes, sir. Today is a good day.
So that black cloud that was over your head has gone?
The new look rolled out with minimal issues, woke up next to a beautiful woman, and I'm listening to one of my favorite bands/songs, and eating fresh strawberries.
They're like a cute little couple.
I was gonna say, this is a very
this is,
bro-y exchange bordering on, is there something more here?
oh my gosh, is it gonna be like a meet cute in the end? This is like the trope. The cop falls for the druggie.
And he's like, what would you do when we meet up if I
don't know.
Guess we'll have to wait and see.
We need Heated Rivalry season 2 to come out. Sorry,
Time
guys.
to rewatch Heated Rivalry for the 4th time.
They talked shop, site fixes, the, quote, holiday slump in drug sales, the human resources problems of a clandestine telecommuting workplace. This was a big problem. To grow, DPR said he had to build a strong workforce. A leader needs support so he can focus on the future.
Chapter 12, Health and Wellness. I just want to let you know that your work hasn't gone unnoticed, DPR wrote to Chronic Pain, aka Curtis Green, the Mormon grandpa in Spanish Fork, Utah. I'd like to offer you a position. Green had been on Silk Road for some time, and he'd chosen that screen name because of his own chronic pain, caused by a back injury he'd sustained while working as an EMT. On disability, Green had become an amateur pharmacologist, learning the ins and outs of opiates. Green had always been the hobbyist type, ever since his high school obsession with ham radios, which he used to talk to strangers all over the world, including astronauts on the International Space Station. Holy
Damn.
shit. That's so cool. One of my uncles, who he passed away before I became an adult, so I could never really talk to him about it, but my dad would tell me that he did this, that this was his hobby that he did his whole life, and that he had multiple radios and he had ongoing conversations where he would check in with people in crazy remote parts of the world.
That's crazy.
Isn't that
That's
crazy?
cool, though.
And that when there would be world events happening, he would check the news to see what was happening in parts of that country, and then he would be radio them to be just checking on you and your family. Isn't that crazy?
That's so cool.
But it's such a cool hobby and a way to directly connect with people. It's
Well,
yeah,
it's connecting
cool.
with strangers because we have phones, but you connect with people with that. And I mean, now we just talk to fucking bots.
And people comment on social media posts and things like that, but that feels almost kind of like like pen pally.
Yeah.
But it's using technology to speak to people directly and hear their voice, which is really cool.
See, I just want social media and technology to like go back to this. Like, I just want to get rid of it all and go back
Yeah.
to the simpler things, like ham radio.
I agree. Except if you're not following us on Instagram, go do that.
Yeah.
While we still have it, you know.
You know, I'm following on Instagram. I just don't have an Instagram. I don't log in, so.
Oh, I deleted TikTok off of my phone because it's just useless. It's just useless.
Yeah.
It's just a time-sucking, useless, whatever. Do I still love to laugh at Instagram reels and things like that, which I know I sound like an old fuddy-duddy, but whatever. Anyways,
Ham radios.
let's go
Gosh.
back to the days of ham radios and letter writing and talking to astronauts on the
Breaker,
International
breaker,
Space
99.
Station. The astronauts are like, oh my god.
Oh, this
Yeah,
fucker. Hey, Kaitlyn. How you doing?
When you pee, does it like float? Anyways, Silk Road fulfilled his yearning for community and technical intricacy, combining computers with his interest in safe drug use. With DPR's approval, Green started Silk Road's Health and Wellness Forum, where he advised people on how to snort ephedrine, cautioned against fentanyl for the uninitiated, and explained to someone that it's not a good idea to inject peanut butter or shoot heroin into your eyeball. Okay. When Green's diligent forum moderating turned into a job offer from DPR, he was thrilled. DPR sent a job description which included customer service and resetting passwords. Green, taking on a new admin handle, Flush, worked 80 hours a week mediating drug sale disputes from his lounger, Fox News running in the background. DPR was a complicated boss. He could be a hard taskmaster, haranguing Green for being even 1 minute late to an appointed time on tour chat. Green was chagrined when he got no Christmas greeting. Oh.
Oh.
He's working 80 goddamn hours
no,
a
but
week for this
seriously.
bitch. Could have told him Merry Christmas.
I mean,
But other times, DPR was full of generosity, staking Green in a poker tournament and being unfazed when Green lost it all. Like a digital era Don, he could be affectionate and magnanimous in public, but decidedly less humane behind the scenes. He gave audience to loyal users seeking favors. One guy got help buying a wedding ring, but was decidedly unsympathetic to the real consequences of his business. Green forwarded one troubling customer service complaint from a woman whose brother overdosed on heroin from Silk Road and noted that under the current system, children could also use the site.
gosh.
Oh, God. Perhaps that was a hair too much freedom, Green said. DPR erupted. That's my whole idea, all caps.
And we're losing him.
We're losing him, yeah. Any constraints would destroy the fundamental concept, he said, and refused any assistance for the grieving sister. And yet Green stayed on, despite the insensitivity and ethical contradictions, becoming one of Silk Road's most trusted employees. DPR is kind of giving Steve Jobs to me. You know, that
Yeah.
like brilliant asshole that would be very like magnanimous 1 second and like an evil villain the next.
because, I mean, in a sense, I get it because it's your area of expertise. So, like, and it's your baby.
Yeah.
But
the
like,
kids
yeah,
thing,
no,
that,
like, and again, it started like okay, but like everything is gonna snowball into
yep.
bad hands.
And we're starting to see those negative sides now. Then it
Also,
just
you're gonna pay for somebody's wedding band, but not.
funeral
I mean, at the same
expensive.
time, though, like you didn't cause her brother to OD.
No.
So,
No.
oh gosh, but
It's-
that's where it gets tricky. That's where,
Exactly.
oof. Wow.
On Silk Road, however, trust only went so far. DPR demanded a scan of Green's driver's license. It was a loyalty test. Green obliged, even though it exposed him, while allowing DPR to remain in the shadows. Like Force, Green felt like he'd established quite a bond with DPR, partners in a secret world. But not all secrets are partnerships. No matter how close Green or Force or anyone else got to DPR, no one had any idea who he was.
Chapter 13. Fences. Tarbell had 3 computers on his desk, as did Kiernan and Yum. The Cyber Squad crew looked for any flicker of information that would crack open the dark web, but their investigation was moving slowly. They explored the site, read the forums, and crawled Reddit, looking for Silk Road community members talking to each other or to DPR about cryptographic weaknesses they'd discovered. But a month went by with no traction. The crew ate lunch together every day at 11:30 on the nose, like the habit-happy cops they were. Most of the time, they picked up sandwiches downstairs at the deli. So they went downstairs to the deli, where the guy behind the counter knew them all by their order. Oh, that's the relationship I want in
Beautiful.
life. With a deli serviceman.
Yes.
Ooh, and we get to read them. Yes.
Yeah.
Kiernan would be happy with chicken cordon bleu forever, and Tarbell was such a fan of the chicken parmesan that when he'd occasionally get a salad, the deli guy would say, "Aw, what's the matter, Mr. CEI?"
Kayla got too excited about the sandwich.
I really did. Aw, what's the matter, Mr. CIA? No chicken parm today?
No.
Really? Throw it on the side.
No.
Tarbell called Yum his work wife. We all have them.
Yes.
They were a good team, he thought, the thinker and the talker. Tarbell was the talker. He had, by now, emerged as the dominant personality in the pit. The dues-paying rookie of the previous year had given way to a raucous, confident alpha type who bristled when he heard rumblings from Washington about ownership of the Silk Road investigation.
Oh my God. That would piss me off so much that they would just be like, we're just going to come in and take it over after all that work they've done.
Yeah.
Hell no.
I'd be stewing over there with my sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
The case had become an enormous bureaucratic battle as every agency tried to plant its flag. The Baltimore Task Force, where Force's case operated, was the most aggressive, claiming complete ownership and bad-mouthing the FBI Cyber Squad in particular. They think we're a joke, poking around on the internet, Tarbell told Yum, but we're going to prove them wrong. The other agencies, he noted, had been at it for a while, and they don't have fuck all. You're not wrong.
Nope.
But in the bureaucratic muddle that is the United States government, still today, there is no clear jurisdiction for cybercrime. It's a growing field that's fueling law enforcement funding, which attracts egos and politics. Silk Road represented the new frontier of crime, a digital-era Wild West. As with the original frontier, Washington wanted to fence it in, and whoever brought the law to the lawless would be a hero. Subdue the digital frontier, and there was a star waiting for you, which was why the Silk Road case had become the largest online manhunt in history.
Chapter 14. Call me. Green wouldn't stop talking, even covered in cocaine. Okay, so we're back to the beginning of the story. Well, obviously...
He's got a lot of cocaine in the system. He's a little hyped up.
Y'all should have sprinkled him with
Isn't
weed.
that... But, wouldn't that be against... he's under the influence. So, can you... Anything he says...
Yeah.
Couldn't be.
But I don't think they're... I don't know.
We'll have to restart. I like to jump ahead a lot.
Yeah, that's
20
okay.
steps, sorry.
It's a good thought, though. But yeah, of course he didn't stop talking because he's covered in cocaine. That was how Force found him when the SWAT team finished ransacking his house. Force was running that show. As Knob, he'd orchestrated the shipment of coke, and the whole raid was part of the growing Marco Polo task force investigating Silk Road. He'd watched Green take the bait from a command post across the street, and when he walked in a few minutes later, Green was cuffed on the floor, blabbing already. Again, because he's inhaled God knows how much cocaine. Green had more answers than Force had questions. He talked and talked and talked until Force couldn't stand it. Said he was a former EMT. He was just trying to help people. They could have just knocked. He thought the package was something else, a totally legal drug called N-bomb. Shut the fuck up already, Force thought. Nevertheless, Green was a tangible lead in the Silk Road case, a corporeal asset rather than just letters on a screen. As Green was led to the squad car to be booked on possession by the local cops, Force put his number in Green's phone and said, "When you get out, call me." In jail, Green jawboned for hours to anyone who would listen, even declaring that he had been asked to cooperate with the DEA, at which point his tattooed cellmates told him to stop talking. When Green was released on bail, he went home and found his door still broken. His daughter had cleaned up some. In his bedroom, the cops had apparently discovered that this particular Mormon grandpa owned a dildo, which they left for him standing straight up on the bed.
Don't touch my shit.
We do not kink shame. That was not very nice.
This particular Mormon grandpa, they have sex too.
Yeah. Ignorant assholes.
What if it's Mormon grandma?
Yeah.
What if it's hers?
Yeah.
What if it's his daughter's? Oh, but ew. But that's so unprofessional. And do your job. Don't drop low. If you find drugs, you find fucking drugs.
I'm going to sound very hypocritical when I say this, but I know this man is a criminal, but he's not out there stalking and maiming people and being a, fucking pedophile and all the stuff that would warrant me having no empathy for him.
Still is breaking the law, yes, and he should serve whatever time for that. He is just a pawn.
Yeah.
Granted, he still did illegal stuff, but it's like you're saying, he's not. I would rather this man go free. I have no qualms about this man
1,000%
going free.
Or use him as an amazing asset.
Baby boy blabbers.
Clearly he's...
To the point where other inmates were like, shut the fuck up.
Dude. Oh.
I don't want to know this stuff because I don't want to get...
Yeah, certainly not. So, home alone with his 2 chihuahuas, Green cried like a baby. "I'm a good little Mormon boy," he said to himself. Oh, God. His 2 chihuahuas.
Oh, little babies.
I really was worried they were going to say the chihuahuas were gone because the door was busted down.
No. And that one of them was nipping at one of the cops.
Oh, no. Oh,
and just punted the poor thing.
Chihuahuas are okay. His thoughts grew dark. He loaded his dad's .32. Then he looked down the barrel and threw it across the room. Green would be the first to admit that he was too chicken shit for suicide. He ran into the living room and threw himself onto the couch where his chihuahuas joined him, licking his face while he fell to his knees to pray. Eventually, Green decided to get up, get his phone, and call DEA Special Agent Carl Force.
Chapter 15. Driver's license -1.pdf. It wasn't until Force spent some time on Green's computer and saw DPR's messages. "Why aren't you clearing out your accounts? Get back to me ASAP." That he realized they'd caught a big fish in their net. This guy was a DPR lieutenant. Force mobilized quickly, working with the task force to put Green up in a Salt Lake City Marriott and debrief him. But DPR was jittery, and he noticed that his trusted admin had been offline for a few days. A Google search revealed that Green had been arrested, and DPR suspected he would flip. Moreover, he got a message from another employee, Inigo, that $350,000 in Bitcoins had just disappeared from various accounts.
Again with the Bitcoin.
$350,000. Sorry, I don't think I said dollars. Gosh.
Damn.
Bitcoins will never make sense to me.
Me neither.
Inigo quickly traced the theft to Green's admin. I don't understand how the cops weren't smart enough to, like, not make it apparent. That I guess there's still protocols and stuff, but I'll
Yeah.
never get how, like, Force didn't go in there and be like, hey, if you work for me,
Mm-hmm.
this is under the table.
Yeah.
And then you'll get out, and then
Yeah.
you'll come work for me.
That makes far more sense to me, and I don't know why they chose to go the route that they did, but
I mean, we're reading this. I'm going to assume it ends in an arrest of DPR. I don't know, though.
who
So,
knows? I guess we'll see. Or it ends in a meet cute and a kiss.
a kiss. And you know what? I'm here for it. But like we see, we see we're in a downward spiral. DPR went into crisis mode, communicating with his confidants, scrambling for a solution. This will be the first time I have had to call on my muscle, he told Inigo. Fucking sucks. Moments later, DPR messaged Knob that he had a problem in Utah that required violence.
God.
According to the backstory Force had created for Knob, his criminal repertoire included enforcement and collection talents, so he acted the part. Sitting in the Marriott, Force received a PDF of the target, opened it, and discovered a scan of Green's driver's license photo. Then he looked across the table, where at that very moment Green was half asleep. Well, this sure is an opportunity, Force thought. I'll be Knob again.
Okay.
Do you want him beat up, shot, just paid a visit?
I'd like him beat up, then forced to send the bitcoins he stole back. Not sure how these things usually go.
Baby, you need to have more of an agenda.
Just maybe like beat him up. You know, I'm not sure how these
Ah,
things usually
okay.
go.
Mm.
Just maybe pull a few teeth out. It was
Oh,
fine.
God. Green claimed that he hadn't stole any bitcoins and protested that the task force had had his computer when the money went missing. But Force didn't want to talk about the money. He used DPR's request to construct an elaborate plan. Dread.
How quickly do you think you can get someone over there? And what does that cost you?
$1 billion.
$1 billion.
Forrest got Green to sign a waiver, thereby commencing his role in an impromptu staged torture sting against DPR. Soon, Green was being dunked in the bathtub of a Marriott suite by phony thugs who were in fact a Secret Service agent and a Baltimore postal inspector. Honey, I gotta work late tonight. What?
Wait, did they just they just be like, hey, Mr. Mailman, you want to come make a few extra
Oh
bucks?
my gosh.
You busy on your lunch break?
Damn. Forrest recorded the action on a camera. Did you get it? Green asked, wet and wheezing on the floor. He'd felt like their simulation was a little too accurate.
Oh no.
They dunked him 4 more times to get a convincing shot.
Oh my god.
While waiting for the news from Knob, DPR considered his options. A Silk Road user named Simon, with a C, a trusted advisor who had guided DPR on OPSEC programming and leadership, asked DPR when a transgression against Silk Road requires a lethal response. If this was the Wild West, DPR said, and it kinda is, you'd get hung just for stealing a horse. A few minutes later, Inigo chimed in. I don't condone murder, but that's almost worthy of assassinating him over. LOL.
God.
Later that day, DPR messaged Knob.
Okay, so can you change the order to execute rather than torture? He was on the inside for a while, and now that he's been arrested, I'm afraid he'll give up info.
Oof. Well, baby, now you're being charged with, like, plotting to kill somebody, so.
Yeah.
Of course, DPR was right that Green had been flipped by the very same man he'd just hired as an assassin. It was a surprising escalation. The Silk Road leader, who waxed lyrical about respecting the Silk Road community, was now pondering pricing for murder.
And that's federal.
That-
But if they have you on actually like asking about that, and then I think from the Tiger King stuff that happened a while back, that was like they had to be able to lock down that he actually money exchanged hands. So even the talking about it and like asking about it can be like a conspiracy
Yeah.
to commit, but that doesn't have nearly the sentence as once the money actually changes hands, then
Yeah.
it gets even more serious. Because right now it's still like, oh, we could have been joking. Oh,
Right.
it's still like circumstantial, but
Wow.
but it's definitely the water's starting to boil now. So Dredd messaged, never killed a man or had one killed before, but it is the right move in this case. How much will it cost? Ballpark? Less than 100K? Have you killed or had someone killed before?
Oh, gosh. And you're off the cliff.
Yep.
It was like Scarface on Fast Forward, Force thought, but he played right along. Over a week or so, Force conspired with his team to complete the fake death of Green. Force sent DPR photos of the staged torture, followed by photos of Green face down on the floor, pallid, smeared with Campbell's chicken and stars soup. The supposed aftermath of asphyxiation.
Damn.
Green holed up in his house. He had to stay out of sight as part of the ruse, in a kind of self-imposed witness protection, and Force went back to Baltimore. If I was Green, I'd be like, please stay. Please.
Yeah.
Who's hired to kill me, but I know you're not gonna, so if you could just stay.
If you could just put me in a cell and lock it, that'd be great.
You know what?
Give me my
Yeah.
TV
With my
and
chihuahuas.
yeah, his recliner, and let him have his.
I would not want to be a sitting duck in the address
No.
that is on my license that the guy has.
Oh my god, hell no.
DPR sent $40,000 to a Capital One account controlled by the government as an advance. DPR never got back the stolen bitcoins, but once in receipt of the putative proof of death, he sent another $40,000 for a job well done. Knob, you okay?
I am pissed I had to kill him, but what's done is done.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine being him on the other side and be like,
Oh, you would have be buzzing
Oof.
with
like a natural, like,
gotcha, bitch. But they still don't know who he is. It sounds like they're not any closer to knowing who he is, but they know once they do, it's like gotcha on
but
Hitman.
now, if anything, Force has only furthered his foot in the door by proving that he killed, like,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
DPR had momentarily wrestled with his decision. He had talked to Inigo about how he just wishes the best for people and loves them in the libertarian spirit, even Green in flagrante delicto,
Mm-hmm.
but ultimately concluded that his AWOL employee had become too much of a liability. And so DPR's principled technological stand against the war on drugs slid into murder. Like so many revolutionaries before him, the idealist became an ideologue willing to kill for his beloved vision. At one point, DPR corrected Inigo that his action was not revenge. It was justice, a new justice, according to the law of the Silk Road. You can't make your own laws.
Yep. The snowballing of these things and people starting to operate outside of the confines of the law, being like, well, we're just going to make our own laws and decide what's right
Yeah.
and wrong.
And I'm going to kill out of the law. Like, I love
Mhm.
people, but you got to kill people to maintain, like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Hitler loved people. And look at how that went.
Hitler came out of his bunker to walk his dogs. You know, that
Guys.
doesn't mean he was a good guy.
Oof. When you have that mentality and you think that you're aware of your mentality, but you're
Mhm.
not.
It's the
That's scary.
The grandiosity
Mm-hmm.
or the like.
Like, I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Yeah.
That's where it, like, oof.
When really the core of it, I think, is like it is a little bit of what he's saying,
Mhm.
but you know that he's paranoid about it all
Yeah.
falling apart.
Well, and you know
being-
he had, like, his conscience is eating away at himself,
Yeah.
but he's hushing it.
Mm-hmm.
He's transforming.
Yep.
Back in Baltimore, sitting in his guest room with Pablo, Forrest thought about DPR's shift. He wondered, what changed? DPR was asking himself the same question. Moral choices blur when your identity is shifting. This was the irony behind the very idea of the Dread Pirate Robert's moniker, an inherent danger that the wearer would become the mask. Unmoored, DPR sensed that he was in a state of becoming. Knob, what have you learned?
Well, I'm also learning who I am. I don't think this will be the hardest thing I'll have to do.
What could be harder?
I don't know. Maybe I'll be faced with a decision where lives of innocent people will depend on the outcome. That's also giving that grandeur idea, like delusions of grandeur. I don't know.
But see, it's like always the good guy in movies will kill thousands of people to stop
Yeah.
the bad guy.
Yeah.
The evil guy will kill like everyone just to save his loved one. And it's like, you guys are like good, evil. It's kind of the same.
Also, the freaky thing about this Dread Pirate Roberts, like, moniker is that I feel like he can, or he's trying to do things as Dread Pirate Roberts, but is trying to separate that from who he is, so that he can be like, when I put on this mask, I have to do things that I myself wouldn't do, but it's justified because it's not really me. It's this entity I've created that has to keep this world running a certain way, and I have to do things that go against maybe myself out from behind the computer would never do. But
Now he's starting to realize that it is him wearing the mask.
yeah,
Like it is.
yeah.
As if seeking a makeshift moral compass among murderers, DPR asked Knob to let him know if he was abusing his authority. That is what friends are for, Knob replied. Exclamation point. No. DPR confided to Inigo that one of his deepest fears was being wildly successful and being corrupted by that power. Knob also warned his online comrade about that power, how it could consume you. In his office, Forrest himself had put up a picture of Jesus Malverde, the Mexican narco saint, an inspiration for Knob, and felt the pull of the folk hero Bandit. He reminded DPR not to, quote, lose yourself. How could he not? Now astride a multi-million-dollar drug operation that he'd built in less than 2 years, Ross was no longer the tender-hearted soul who agonized over telling one lie to a young woman over a glass of wine. His diary had changed from a story about doubts and hopes to a catalog of hard-nosed empire building.
Yeah, but you literally took out a hit on someone.
You did something that's irreversible.
Yeah.
The triumph of Silk Road confirmed its creator's belief in his own myth. What are we doing? DPR wrote to his followers. Will have rippling effects for generations to come. In June 2013, the site reached nearly 1 million registered accounts, and the feds were nowhere in sight. Until one afternoon, just around that same time, back in the New York FBI cybercrime office, when Tarbell and Kiernan leaned forward and finally saw something interesting on one of their screens. They'd been at it for weeks, farting into the same chair cushions in the pit. Ew. Running for... I'm sorry.
Oh, what I love about this article is it'll be like so deep and philosophical, and then it's just like, these guys have just been farting in the same cushions for weeks.
So yeah, farting in the same cushions in the pit, running the Torah bundle on one monitor, staring at lists of numbers on another, when one of those numbers surprised them. Oh my god. I'm going to stroke out.
Here, you got it, Kaitlyn.
62.75.246.20. They looked at each other in disbelief, and then back at the terminal, which was displaying the true IP address of the Silk Road server.
Oh, no idea how they knew that set of numbers was what it was, but thank God they did.
62.75.246.20. Watson, we've done it. Whoa.
Oh, thank God.
Well, guys, that was the end of that. Part 2 of this.
That was the end of that. All right, next.
That's it. We're done.
That was the
Ooh.
end. So at this point in the article, it says end of part 1.
One.
And so we're going to be jumping over to read the story's conclusion, which is titled Part 2, The Fall.
So yes, dear
Mhm.
campers.
We are going to be doing Part 2, The Fall, next week. And that will be the final installment of our 3-part series on Silk Road.
Ooh.
Well, not really our series, our blind read of
Yes,
this
yes,
article. Yes, you know what I mean.
Well, it's a series.
Yeah. I really
Wow.
love this story. I love how
This
it's
is-
unfolded.
This is equivalent to like binging a really good series.
It
and like one day, I
is.
really do like this story.
It's also a testament to the amazing writing
Mhm.
that I can care and follow a crime story about cybercrime, which is normally something when I see an article about it, my brain just kind of is like,
Yeah.
it just is not something that has a draw to me as far as digging into it, because there's a lack of that like physical forensics and the
Yeah, it's not like a crime, like,
in the
Yeah.
traditional sense of the word that we as true crime consumers are used to, because we like the analysis of the crime scene, the forensics, the interpersonal relationships, but they're all there
Yeah.
in this case, very much so, but
I
they're fueled
think-
by digital.
2 is we both enjoy the psyche behind them,
Mm,
and we're truly seeing
yeah.
Ross DPR, like,
Mhm.
him form a new personality, and then that
Mhm.
personality mingle with him,
Yes.
and seeing his downfall.
Mhm. And the involvement of Green.
I mean, yeah, even Green, like,
And-
who was doing it for
Yeah.
good. I mean, he was advising people not to shoot peanut butter into their eyeballs,
Yeah.
which, you know.
Somebody's got to be a moderator of dumbasses. But yeah, I really have enjoyed reading this story. We hope you guys are enjoying it as well.
Ooh, I'm eager to see where Force goes.
Yeah.
Like, I hope he doesn't fall. Like, I'm rooting for him and Pablo.
Yeah.
Wait, is Pablo Forces? No,
The-
I'm thinking of Tarbell. Oh my god, there's so many of them, guys.
I know.
No, it's Force who's Knob.
Mm-hmm. Force is his digital alter
Yes.
ego is Knob, who's
Yes.
having this broship with.
So it's Tarbell who I'm rooting for because he has Pablo, and
Yep.
he has already succumbed to
kind of
his-
getting too far
Yeah.
into being the double agent and being too far into the world he's supposed to pretend to be a part of.
Ooh.
But it's more alluring to him to be in that world than kind of in his real life with his family. So we did read, though, that he separated himself from it, and then I was like, and then
Yeah.
he started going to church
Well,
again.
now he has his like work wife.
Yes.
It's just okay, and they got the deli. Okay, they're doing good.
They're doing good. They're working as a team.
Ooh, but I really am eager for part 3.
Me too.
So let us know what you guys are thinking. If you like, what you find interesting about a case like this. Like we said, that's not traditional crime.
Yeah. And what do you guys think about the concept of enterprises like this? Do you think that it can ever actually be done in a way that is, like, it's obviously illegal, but is still, just because something is illegal doesn't necessarily mean it's unethical.
Yeah.
And so could something like this be still done in a way that you would be aware of the legal consequences if you get caught, but that you are operating by a strict code of moral ethics? And at first, it seemed like he was.
Yeah.
But then as we get further down the Silk Road with him, we see how he's like, well, the point of it is that anyone can access it anytime. So kids,
Yeah.
like, I don't care if kids are accessing it. And then my empire is threatened. This is the Wild West. What happens
Yeah.
in the Wild West? Somebody steals your horse, they get hung. Then he's taking out a hit on somebody. So it raises all of these questions then about the importance of the systems we do have, even though they're not always perfect, for keeping things like this getting out of control.
Or
because
does it like give you more? Like me, I'm like, it's all corrupt.
yeah,
They're all DPRs. Like all the
Because there's incredibly corrupt people within our
I don't
systems of
think
law.
anything run by like one person can be inherently like purely good.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is like people get so passionate about something like that's helping people
Yeah.
that passion brings out like not evil but like protectiveness of it. And so you to protect something you eliminate what's threatening it. And however you take that.
I really think no one person can have the final say, which is why historically we see such danger in like monarchies, dictatorships, is because either it was 50 years of peace if the person was a benevolent monarch or even dictator, or we see 50 years of absolute slaughter and mayhem when one person has their finger on the button and it's not a democratic operation.
Person's viewpoints and opinions and like all that can be
above everything else.
A definitive thing.
And there was seemingly to me at first that it seemed like he was trying to build a village. He was kind of like, I can't do this on my own. But then also was very much like, well, if you double cross me. So it's turning into a mad dictatorship.
Dun dun dun.
The rise and fall of Silk Road.
Gosh.
All right, guys. Well,
we haven't said it in a while. Be sure to give us a follow on Instagram, TikTok. Be Camping is Canceled.
Yes.
Email us, DM us. Email us at campingiscanceled@gmail.com for any case suggestions, any stories you have. True crime, paranormal, shitty. I don't know. Nothing weird. No weird.
Yeah. You know what?
You
weird.
know the drill.
If you know what we mean. You know.
But
also be looking for. Very soon, we're going to be starting to post our audio recordings on YouTube. We'll be sure to let you guys know when that happens, but it's just another lane for us to be more available to you guys and hopefully continue to spread our audio waves across all the things I don't understand. But that's why we have Courtney and we love her.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And remember, folks, the world is a scary place. So always have courage and stay kind.
Of a bitch.
Bye.